going on, everybody? Rob A here, and today we're taking a look at Mega Construx Black Series Game of Thrones Battle Beyond the Wall. The set has 176 pieces and retails for right around $20. It comes with 3 micro action figures. You've got Jon Snow, you've got the Night King, and you've got just a random bad guy. Random Wight, I'm sorry. On the back, you can take a look and see some various images from the show itself, as well as a co-sell for the Daenerys and Drogon set, which I should have here by tomorrow. I ordered these both at the same time through Amazon. It said they were both shipping at the same time, but this one actually arrived today, and the other one has yet to leave the Amazon warehouse, which is really frustrating because I'm really looking forward to this set. But anyway, you've got Jon Snow, you've got the Night King, and you've got this Wight here. And it's just a chunk of the wall. It doesn't really look all that incredible, but it's looks like a nice parts pack and a nice way to get some cool micro figures. You can see Jon Snow does include Long Claw, his sword, and the Night King has his large ice spear that he used to kill one of the dragons in the series. On the side here, you can see a nice image of Jon Snow. On this side, just got the Game of Thrones logo. Not too much else to talk about besides that. I am interested to see what else they have coming along in the Black Series, as far as different properties and things like that. So that'll be interesting. But in the meantime, let us check out the Battle Beyond the Wall set. Alright everybody, so here we have the Battle Beyond the Wall set, and I gotta say, it's more than what I was expecting. It's still just a very small sort of vignette kind of a set, but it's actually a little bit more involved than what I was anticipating. So I'm really excited to share it with you now. So let's take a look at the micro action figures first, and let's just take a look at the Wight here. And it's a pretty basic figure. It's very reminiscent of the zombies that came out from the Call of Duty line a couple of years back. In fact, I'm pretty sure that the head sculpt is actually reused from that line, but I do believe everything else is new. You have these nice skeletal legs. There's no articulation in the legs other than at the hip. You can see just underneath there. There's a ball joint at the hip, but beyond that there is no knee, there is no elbow either, because they have these very skinny skeletal arms. But the paintwork on them is really well done. They've got a nice wash all over, and it just looks really, really nicely done. You do have a waist articulation, which these are popping out. So the problem that I had, and I think that's why the waist is coming loose, is because I don't want to risk breaking anything, because the plastic, well, not the plastic, but the joints and stuff are fairly thin on these. So I'm trying to get everything to work. There we go. There we go. That's got it. All right. Just had to give it a little extra jam there. But you can see you do have the waist swivel. You've got a hole in the back here for whatever you need. And we also come with an axe accessory, which is nice. It's simple, but it gets the job done. And there's your standard Wight figure. Of course, we've got the little loincloth bit. We've got a little hip pack, so you can go on little adventures. That's fun. So there's the Wight figurine. One of the major things I did notice about the set is it does not come with little figure stands, which pretty much all of the Mega Construx sets have been coming with these days, and this just does not include them, which is kind of a bummer, to be honest. But you do have just this little vignette that you can just stick these figures on, so it's kind of its own display base, I guess. So yeah. Let's take a look now at the Night King. He does have his ice spear, which is pretty cool. It's a clear, like, not smoked, but frosted frosted tip on that spear, so he can bring down Viserion. Is that the name of the other dragon? I think that's the name of the dragon. So you can bring the dragon down with that, but beyond that, he's got some really nice armor, very nicely sculpted armor pieces here. You can see all of the lines and everything, and this is all etched in because it's all silver, and I can't tell. I don't believe there's any kind of a wash on this, but it looks like there is just because of the way the light reflects off of all those, you know, all of that sculpted detail. He does have clear blue hands and a clear blue head, so it makes it a little difficult to kind of make out all those details, but it is very nicely done. He's got nice ball joint articulation, and of course the legs are just basic black. There's nothing really too crazy about that, but really nicely sculpted details all the way around. And again, these are softer rubber pieces, so they do not interfere with articulation, as you can see. Really, really well done. Good job, Mega. There you go. And last, but certainly not least, is Jon Snow. And this figure can be a little problematic. So you can see his sword, which I guess we'll just spin around so you can kind of see. You've got Long Claw here in his hand, really nicely done. Nicely, I mean, it is nicely sculpted, even though it is, you know, super tiny. Like, super tiny. And of course, Jon Snow himself looks really, really nice. He's got, the head sculpt is decent. It's not amazing, but it's not bad. And again, it is on a ball joint, but he does have this huge fur collar around his neck, and he does have these two belts, which are actually individual belts around his shoulder and waist, and you can see they are sword belts, so you can actually hold Longclaw in those if you wish. He's got the fur boots as well as fur leggings, like really thick. He's got like Godzilla thighs going on here. Really thick leggings, and again that soft rubber on his hip skirts. And the only problem here is that he has so much stuff on his torso that it limits his head articulation, and I'm still not entirely sure that his head is fully onto the ball joint of his neck. So his head may pop off at any moment, but other than that, he's got really nice sculpted fur details all over, and just a really, really nicely done figure at this size. You can see the beautiful wash on that fur really brings out those details, and I think it just looks fantastic at this scale. So really, really nicely done figure. On to the set itself. Again, like I said, there's not a whole lot to this set. It is a piece of the wall, obviously. You can see there's fire up here where it's it's starting to burn. But the thing I was not expecting was how this wall is built. So these are all separate pieces along this. I thought it was just going to be like stacked on top of each other, and that this front was going to be basically flat. With just some little bits, kind of greebles stuck on. That is not the case. It is really nicely three-dimensional. You can see this side's a little thicker, but you can see all of the detail going through, where it looks like it's stones stacked on top of one another. It just looks really, really well done. You've got this nice base here with some little bits of some ice and snow, some little dead plants there, and from the back there's really nothing going on here. It's just a couple of plates exposed, so not really gonna display it from that angle. But overall, really, really nicely done. it's got plenty of space to fit all of the figures, and you can actually do something really cool probably if you picked up a couple of these sets and just had a wall started wrapping around. So yeah, very, very nice. A great little set to get some really cool figures in. The $20 asking price it's a little steep, but I am trying to keep in mind that you know, it's a licensed set, first of all. Game of Thrones, of course, and you know, required a lot of sculpting for these new micro figures. And you know, I'd like to think that they probably also tried to spread the cost of the entire line over the entire line, if that makes sense. So maybe the Drogon set is not quite as expensive as it could have been, because this one is a little more expensive, if that makes sense. So I'm not sure if that's how it's done, but I'd like to think that that might be why this is at a slightly higher price point when it could have been, you know, more of a $15 set. Either way, I don't feel badly about the asking price at all, because the figures really are amazing, and the build itself was more than I thought it was going to be. So very, very cool, very strong first outing for the Mega Construx Game of Thrones line, and I'm looking forward to what else is coming along. So thanks so much for watching, guys. That's going to do it for this review. I want to thank you again. If you enjoyed the video, please hit that like button. It really does help me out, of course. Subscribe if you want to see more. I'll be back soon, so stick around. In the meantime, thanks again. I'll see you in the next one. Bye for now.